Hi everyone, it's me, Idris. You guys know that when Idris comes on, that means we got some new or returning Patriots. Well, up first, we have Terrence Vaughn. Terrence, you're a new Patriot, and you know what? We love you for it. We love the fact that you joined Patreon and decided, I need to be a Patriot. We love that, even though Patriot sounds kind of negative when you say it now these days. Either way, thank you for your patronage. Thank you for being the Patriot. Up next, we have returning Patriot, Jason Dennis. All right, Jason, let's just rip the Band-Aid off here. You have two first names, but you know what? We're not going to hold that against you because you know why? You're a Patriot again, and we love you for that. Thank you for being the Patriot. Thank you for your patronage. You are one of the finest. Guys, be like Dennis. Well, I'm sorry. Be like Jason Dennis. I'm sorry, Jason. I didn't mean to do that. Or be like Terrence Vaughn. Guess what? That's two first names as well. What's going on here? You could be like these four different individual people, and you can go over to Patreon, patreon.com/mediumpopcorn, and you could sign up and you can support this show and make it even better than it already is. Guys, Idris out.
Medium popcorn. We are two niggas spoiling movies. Yeah. Brandon Collins, that's me. And Justin Brown for your movie needs. Medium popcorn. Woo! You haven't seen it, well, we're gonna spoil it. Spoil it in your face. That's your warning. So if you get pissed, it's all your fault. What would you do if I said, shit.
The correct words are, what would you do if I sang out of tune? Go, try again.
What would you do if I sang out of tune? And
Don't worry, you're doing it right now.
Okay. I don't know what's happening, everybody. Maybe I just stumbled out the gate immediately. I'm Eddie Collins.
Guys, this is Justin Brown.
Please stop with the accent. It's so bad. It's really bad. You've clearly never been to France.
No, I've never been to France.
But I don't think he's trying to do a French accent right now.
This is more like Antonio Banderas.
No, that's more like Javier Bardem. But folks, you just heard the illustrious Tatiana, her voice. How you doing, Tatiana?
I'm good. I'm here. I'm glad to be alive, especially after watching this movie.
Hey.
What?
Well, did you, Tati, at any time of watching this movie, did you feel like, I'm glad that Brandon's family did not try to do something like this?
Honestly, I wish they would have. I wish they would have tried it.
So what we understand right now as everyone is that Tati wants all the smoke.
I do. I always want it. Come, who gonna check me?
Well, apparently a whole council of niggas will come check you because we followed Grace Macaulay's story immediately after the end of Ready or Not 1. Like it literally like picks up right when she steps outside the mansion, covered in blood. She's smoking a cigarette. Cops are like, "What happened?" She's like, "In-laws," and she passes out. And basically, we follow her being taken into an ambulance, being resuscitated, and of course, she wakes up in a hospital bed, handcuffed. Because they're like, clearly this chick killed everybody in the mansion because there's nothing but blood and fire and brimstone at the fucking mansion.
It's just exploded bodies.
Well, I mean, to be fair, right? Like you encounter a mansion on fire and blood everywhere, and there's one survivor. I would be suspicious too. Like that's not out of the realm of possibility. That's the only thing that made sense in this movie.
True.
I mean, the whole. I saw this at South by Southwest with the cast and everything like that. And Radio Silence was there and like incredibly excited. Like, everyone was really hype. The first one is like a huge, it was a huge breakout for Radio Silence. Samara Weaving. And I thought she did a great job picking up the Grace character right where she left off and showing how fucking not even like terrified, but how like mentally how she's pushed to the brink, like
Yeah.
having to do something similar again. But now that she's got to
Mhm.
deal with her sister Faith being there. I also love the Sean has to see line where he was like he's like Grace and Faith, fucking Irish Catholics. Like, like this movie is like a lot. I think it's actually funnier than the first one.
Mhm.
I think
But
so
I mean,
too.
there are some crazier characters in this
Yeah.
as well and stuff.
Yeah,
What'd you
I
think of the
think it's
council?
well, first of all, I just think that like it just follows the whole sequel thing. It's like, all right, let's take the next one, and then like we're just gonna ramp it up even more. Which at the same time, I don't think they necessarily needed to as much because I thought the first one, while yes, it is nuts, it is. I mean, it's hard to say it's grounded, but like it's pretty straight what's going on here, and like I don't know. I mean, first of all, I enjoyed the movie, but like it's just like I don't know if it necessarily needed to go too much into Crazy Town. You know what I'm saying?
Well, what I appreciate about the first one, very much seemed like it was intended to be a standalone movie. And obviously, we know sequels are where it's at. But as far as this movie is concerned, I think in the world building or universe building, I think they did a good job of introducing these newer characters and making the satanic group bigger without it being too convoluted.
Yeah.
Now, moving forward, if they decided to do a third installment with the same character, they could. But if they chose to leave her character alone and introduce new people, we're all set up for that. So I think that they did the best that they could with that while keeping to the jokes of the first one, the kills. I love a good kill. The gorier the better. And so this was one where I thought for a sequel it definitely did a really good job.
I think also just the whole relationship with Sarah Michelle I'm sorry, Sarah Michelle Gellar's character Ursula and her twin brother Titus. Like I found their relationship to be pretty cool, and then the fact that Titus is a fucking psychopath and she's
Yeah.
learning how crazy he actually is in during the film as we go along. She's like, oh,
And
he's
how
nuts.
and how
Yeah.
powerful he'll be too, because their father, we learn, is like he currently runs the high table until they all learn that the Damas family was killed, because Grace won. I love that they had a text group. Did you peep the text group thread that like he looks at
Mhm.
first that has the
Yeah.
picture of Samara weaving in the wedding thing? They're like, we're about to go hunting, and then it's like, oh shit, they all died. So he calls his kids in after he stopped a war, by the way. That's how powerful he is. Because we
Yeah.
see on the TV, there's the war happening, and then he's like, oh, start the ceasefire. And immediately it's breaking news, ceasefire done. And so,
Mhm.
Titus and Ursula come, and basically he's like, hey, we got to compete. So you know what to do. And then they smother him to death. They
Yeah.
killed their father. Played by David Cronenberg, by the way, famous director,
Yeah.
which is
Mhm.
hilarious.
Rightfully so. He was already old and sick, and clearly he lived a wonderful, great life. And so I just found the irony of him already being sick and causing so much chaos in the world. I was like, feels like a little bit of a cop out here. But I understand for like story's sake and being able to set up the conflict not just between the twins Titus and Ursula, but then the rest of the high families, I guess, that are fighting for the control of the table, or the council, we're calling it the high council.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah, and then I'm
sorry.
sorry, but then on top of that, we have Elijah Wood's character as a lawyer, who I loved in this film
Yeah, he was great.
because he was just like the straight man. He was just a straight man. He was kind of the voice of the audience in a way. Well, I mean, because some of the reactions that he gave to the things going on, like when somebody was just like, "Oh, this bitch is about to explode," and you just see him like start to duck behind like the stand. But like, and just the fact that he was
he was quietly rooting on Samara Weaving's character throughout all of this. He's just like, I'm not gonna
Well,
die. It's just like
well,
these
they
people.
imply that. Yeah, they imply that he's been around for a long time because even David Cronenberg's like it's been a long time, and Elijah Wood still looks like he's in his late 40s, early 50s, right? And so
Yeah,
he's clearly been serving the LaBelle for a long time, and
yeah,
so I think there's a lot to be like explored with that character. We also never learned his name, but yeah, he highlights all the rules and things. I think he's intrigued by this is such an anomaly, like this never happens, and so
yeah.
like as at one point in the third act, I think he's like there's surprisingly very few bylines about how to handle the situation. So I think he's just like honestly just amused.
Yeah, it's like things got mixed up a little bit. He's just like, okay, all right, show me what you got.
Well, it's giving very like he's old world and they haven't modernized the rules for a modern world, right? So
Yeah,
essentially, that's how the Asian family is able to find the loophole, right? As far as because there aren't a ton of stipulations around these bylaws and whatnot. I mean, to be fair, how I interpreted the lawyer's role was he works directly for LaBelle to make sure that these
yeah,
families are doing what they have to do. So it's quite possible that he is like, not to make it like super religious when we talk about like angels and demons or like the devil is like a fallen angel. It could very well be because they mentioned the Catholic stuff, right? So like they opened it
mhm,
up to other Catholicism specifically. So it's possible that he could very well be like the son of Mr. LaBelle or just another fallen angel or whatever that is.
yeah,
And so he could very well just be a forever entity in this space. And so in a modern time, and then obviously finding this woman and all of the things that come with her, right? Because they do talk about the fact that they did research on her and they couldn't find a family member, which I found
mhm,
super interesting because it doesn't seem like the sister was that hard to find. She lives in
yeah,
Bushwick.
yeah.
Yeah,
I'm good.
I was gonna say, and what was interesting about this movie is the commentary also like these rich people having the resources to find, like loopholes and things like that. So that's why, the dad clearly, Titus and Ursula's dad clearly thought this through in case this ever happened. And that's why he dies. And the loophole for them is because they're twins, they both compete at the same time.
Yeah, because
So
there's
they
no
they can
else.
double up, and then on top
Yeah,
of that, they rig like the golf carts and stuff like that. They're constantly everyone's constantly figuring out little ways to get around the rules, so to speak, so they can take advantage.
yeah. Which it was very interesting because even just seeing how the rules kind of shifted, throughout the film or how they were manipulated. For instance, the Indian guys, it's just like the one guy dies and he's just like, all right, like you're in. He's just like, fuck, I don't want to be in. He's like, I elect my wife.
I don't know
And
why he wouldn't do it though. Like all he had to do, like if he didn't want to kill, all he had to do was just sit around. Like you don't, you're already going to be rich. Like you don't need to, unless you want the high table, you could just chill out. You know what I mean? He could have just stayed there,
I mean, true, true.
but he gave
But
over the rights to his wife, who just pieced out.
yep.
Well, to be fair, Grace is kicking ass and like she's just taking names left and right, intentionally and unintentionally,
Hmm.
So at the end of the day, I understand a little bit why his hesitation. Like she took out a whole family, a whole ass, not like one or two people, like a whole ass family, the kids, the maids, like the staff, the whole freaking building came down,
Yeah.
right? So there is that. The other thing I will say that I think that I don't know if it was just like an oversight or just a hole they forgot to plug, but there's a character that starts hunting her when she's in the hospital before the game even begins.
Yeah.
And so he explodes. He's from Jersey, of course.
Yeah. And he's addicted to cocaine, clearly. Like
Yep.
Kevin Durant, like he's fucking nuts in
Yeah.
this movie.
Yeah, so they don't actually, at least to the best of my knowledge, they don't circle back to his family or who's taking over like his lineage.
Oh, no,
So
his
I
entire lane gets wiped out.
so yeah, so I was gonna say, like, so his entire family line, because he broke the rules, like he went to Hunter before the game
Mhm.
began, which is fine. Like I can understand that, but then why are they not fighting to replace like his line as well?
Because he's
There
not
was just something missing because she's a Ledumas or something like that, or whatever her last name is, right? She's married into this family. So technically she won. She's married into this family. Ideally, she takes over their role, but it's like who's taking over that guy's role in order for this game to even begin.
Well,
Well, I
that's the thing. I think that it's the fact is that once he did that, he broke the rules, and his family was complete. Like all of them exploded. So like I guess that branch of the tree is done. It doesn't exist anymore.
because they say that they started off at 6 and now they're down to 4. That's what they said, like when they all gather
Yeah.
together with Elijah Wood, who's like breaking down the exposition of like what's going on and everything. Speaking of exposition, I love like the Grace and Faith, like, reconnection in the hospital because, like, Faith was Grace's emergency contact, and Grace has to explain the events of the first movie to Faith. And it's like it's so insane, but like as an audience that this really happened to her. I think Samara Weaving, the way that she played it, and Catherine Newton, who I've been very mixed on as a performer.
Mm.
I think that they both played the scene like perfectly, like because it works both for the comedic reasons and also for like the drama that's needed
Yeah.
between the tension for those sisters.
So we
Yeah,
all
I
have
agree.
sisters in this room. Brandon, how do you explain to your sister that the family you've married into is actually part of a satanic cult and tried to kill you in a game of hide and seek on your wedding night? Go.
I'd be like, listen, Kayla, shit got weird. Okay. I need you to really believe me. Okay. Tatiana's family, they love the devil. They fucking try to make me do some devil shit. I was like, nah. Then they try to kill me. I had to kill everybody. I fucking won. That's why I'm in this bed. Help me. Help me. Get me out of here. We got to go. Justin, wait. I was going to ask Justin, how would you tell your sister?
Well, first of all, Brandon, with what you just said, you're being committed. Me,
Help. Help. Believe me, Caleb, please.
you are totally going to a padded room, nigga. For me, it would be pretty easy. I'd be like, because I call I refer to my sister as sister a lot. I say, sister, white people overseas are doing wild white people shit, and I had to get the fuck up out of there. They still coming for me. You're here. You need to either get out of here or help me get the fuck up out of here. Because if not, we all gonna be gone. We off to the races.
Okay. Okay. Interesting.
What about you, Tati?
So I actually have two sisters, so it depends on which one comes first.
Yeah, I want to hear from both of them because I know one of them. I'd like to see how you're gonna explain it.
Okay. So I think with my youngest sister, I'd be like, listen, Ty, I'd never lie to you. And she'd be like, obviously. I'd be like, so everything I'm about to tell you is 1000% true. And we in some shit. So, and I know Thalia, who just trusts me blindly. She'll be like, say less. So I don't have to explain a whole lot to her, being like, whatever they're saying I didn't do it. But trust me, you don't want to know what the fuck I did have to do. And she'd be like, cool, got you. What are we doing? Where are we going? How are we getting out? For my other sister, I think I got to do a little more explaining. And that is where we'd probably get got in the process. I'd be like, hey, whatever they're saying I didn't do. And you know that some people believe in God and some people believe in the devil. And these motherfuckers that believe in the devil try to get me. And we got to get the fuck out of here. And I think she would ask so many questions that I would either be locked up.
Well, plus size, that wouldn't happen because black people don't fuck with the devil. Tati pointed that out when we were watching it. She's like, there wouldn't be any
Yeah.
black people in here. I'm like, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Like, no
It's
matter
true.
how good the deal sounds, because I'll be fucked up if my bad decision fucks up my whole bloodline because I made a deal with the devil and I did some devil shit and I fucked up and I got killed by like a Japanese crime lord or some white bride. My whole family dead. That ain't cool. We all gonna explode in blood
So
heaps.
this is the thing though. So when the Indian wife, when she just takes off and just like fuck it, technically she blows up at the end.
Oh yeah, probably because the guy still blows up at the end too, but you didn't think he would because he had disowned his rightful heir or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things I pointed out in that commentary is also this is all about people in power. And I don't know if they intended to make this connection or not, right? But like realistically, like we know black people are just not in power in levels of power
Mm.
that would be this strong or this meaningful. Like the
Yeah.
fact that they can start a war and stop a war in one phone conversation, like we would know if that black family existed, and as of right
Mhm.
now they don't, unless they're like super secret underground, which is totally plausible. But I just love that it was like everybody but black people, and I was like, yeah,
Mhm.
this tracks.
Yep.
Yep. So Grace and Faith, as we mentioned, are attacked at the hospital by Kevin Durant's crazy Jersey cokehead character because he's like fuck the rules, and then before he's able to kill Grace, he blows up in a bloody heap. So Faith now is like, oh, the story's true, and this is after the dude's taking out the detective that's trying to take Grace in, take her to jail basically. And
Yeah.
so then they get knocked out with some gas by Elijah Wood's character, and then they're taken to basically the home of Titus, like the hotel that Titus and Ursula's family owns and stuff. It's kind of a fucking Mohegan Sun kind of vibe that they're doing, right? Yeah, something like that, like got
Yeah.
golf courses and stuff, and that's where all like the different competitors come, and then they have to sign a blood oath. Which is disgusting. I love how Nestor Carbo's character was like, "Do I have to use the blood pen? Can you at least sanitize it?" I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
"I'm with
yeah.
you, brother. Like, I ain't trying to mix blood like this. It's nasty."
I'm wondering, is he a germaphobe in real life? Because I think he plays another character who's also a little like germaphobe.
Maybe,
Oh,
maybe.
yeah, it could be. Could be.
It puts in his rider. He's like, I don't touch certain things. I don't do certain things. If you can't handle that, you can't get Nesta, baby. You can't get Emmy winning Nesta, baby. Um, I love that the Asian woman Chen Xing, played by the actress from Warrior, by the way.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, she
Yep.
ran
I
the
know that.
brothel. And
Mhm.
her son who plays the video game, she's trying to get like a Grace to marry him. She's like, that's the loophole. You can marry my son, and this all ends. And of course, Faith is like, she'll fucking marry the son. I'll marry the son.
Yeah.
And then Nestor Carbo, who's the worst shot in the world. He's got a fucking sniper rifle. He and his daughter are terrible with like ammunition because the daughter has the rocket launcher and blows it the wrong way.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
They're fucking
But
idiots.
so, well, part of it is that, Nestor's character, he hasn't been practicing.
Mhm.
So, like, that's part of it. But the loophole, again, there's all of these rules and things like that. She's trying to kill him, and the Asian woman's trying to stop him. And then basically, she fucks up and accidentally kills him. But part of the rules was you can't kill another competitor. Because if you do that, your whole bloodline's gone. So she blows up, and then we have the scene where Elijah Wood is just like they're looking at the sun, and like he gets behind the stand, and like everybody's like slowly like walking away from him and getting behind stuff, and then he just blows up. Like it's like the comedy in here was just very well paced, very well
Agreed.
paced.
Agreed. I would also say too that that was an awesome deal, and not for nothing, I might have just taken it, right? Because just like looking at the son and seeing like how disinterested he was in this whole thing, and the fact that she was like, honestly, you just have to marry him. Like you can do whatever you want. Like we're not even gonna force you. And then they're
Yeah,
like, just you just got to do the regular shit. Which listen, I get it. Like she's like, I don't want to kill people and this and that because she's in the situation.
yeah,
Um, but she's killing people left and right. But I will say for that character, it felt it's weird, right? Because they're part of this group, and they're not inherently good people. Um, but it seemed like she was one who was just like born into it, and so I think a lot of like culture is that too, of her being like trying to get her son married, of like the cultural
Yeah,
stuff
yeah,
with
yeah,
it.
yeah.
But Grace is actually the one who forces her to stab him. So
Yes.
essentially, I was like, "Ooh, that's a weird technicality," because yes, in theory she did kill him, but no, in the other flip, like the flip side of it, she did not kill him. It was Grace.
But Elijah Wood
True.
explicitly says, even by accident, and that can mean a plethora of things. So,
Mm.
you have to be on your P's and Q's. Because remember, like Nestor Carbo, when he's shooting at them, he blows up that gas tank that at first, initially he thinks blows up the Indian brother.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the Indian brother wakes up, he's like, "Oh, thank God," because his daughter, who also is, we find out, Alex Le Damas's ex fiance before he met
Yes.
Grace, so she's all bitter. And then they have a young son who, when he gets into the game, he fucking gets some Uzis, and he's all about this life.
Yeah, he's all for the smoke. He wants it
He's
all.
fucking nuts. But when the Indian brother was getting like the jump on them in like the laundry room, and then they threw him into the washing machine, the brother's like, "Oh shit,
Oh yeah, yeah.
that had to
That
be
was.
a rough death." Sanitize.
Ugh.
How hot is that water, y'all think?
I mean, it's definitely got to be boiling.
Well, it's that I'd say close to 200 degrees.
Yeah, there's no way you sanitize something without it being 212, because it has to be that boil feature. But then again, like I don't know about surface levels and bacteria and all that stuff. I did have a the one thing I had with that scene was like he was like all like his skin was melted, but somehow the phone still worked, which
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean, iPhones, baby, they're so durable now.
oh yeah. iPhones are durable. Of all the phones that exist, the iPhone was the one that survived the sanitized cycle of an industrial washing machine.
Or was
Okay,
it a
so
droid?
all right, so hold on. So I'm looking at this as an industrial washing machine. A standard hot wash is about 130 to 150 degrees. A high temperature sanitation is 160 degrees Fahrenheit.
I mean, no matter what, you're gonna have a bad day.
Well,
Have a
and then
bad
on
day.
top of that, you're rolling around in that fucking metal tank and banging your head off the side of the wall. And the metal tank is also getting hot as well. And you're drowning on top of it.
Yeah.
You know that there was somebody recently who got into a fight at like a laundromat. And then when they got into the fight, like the dude attacked him and then he pushed him into the dryer and pushed him into the washing machine. And the guy died.
No,
Yeah,
I didn't
literally
know
just it happened like within the last month. Obviously, that guy went to jail, but like yeah, and it's not like a thing like this didn't happen to him. The guy drowned.
I find that, I mean, what kind of washing machine did this laundry
It-
have? Because I have not publicly washed my clothes in some time.
yeah, same.
But even the biggest washer doesn't feel like it fits a grown human. Like children, I'm sure they fit everywhere. But like an adult human,
Yeah,
that's crazy.
and mind
That's
you,
wild.
this whole thing was over. Guy came in. He was just like, "Oh my, why'd you take my clothes out?" It's like, yeah, it was already done. It's like I was right here or whatever, and then it just escalated, and then the guy attacked him, and then he threw him in the wash. So it's like, yeah, now he's in prison over some bullshit. Guys, take care of yourselves, and like, don't let your fucking anger send you to prison forever. Like,
Yeah, but
why are
that's-
people getting murdered over dumb shit like that?
I was going to say that's wild that you can't even go to the laundromat without fear of being shoved into a machine and murdered. Like that's crazy.
Well, but he was the guy who came in with all the issues.
Yeah.
He came in all aggressive, but like irregardless, like it's just a crazy story. But like watch, because I remember when we were watching this film. Well, we watched separately, but when I was watching the film, I was like, oh shit, that guy just died like this recently. Like that's nuts.
But speaking of anger and stuff like that, I mean that's why the Titus character is so disturbing. The Sean has to see character. By the way, shout out to the faculty reunion that we got with him and Elijah Wood. That was fun to see.
Hmm.
But the way he's going to town on Grace when he like when Grace and Faith had that argument, they split up, and he's just beating the dog shit out of her in the hallway while she's fighting Francesca. They're both blinded from the pepper spray and stuff. I was
Yeah.
just like, in the Sarah Michelle Gellar's character, she sees how violent Titus is, and she's like, oh my god, this dude's out of control. Like he's gonna
Yeah.
be a problem if he gets this ring.
Yeah.
I mean, but Ursula mentions, and there's moments where because of the situation, you don't know how genuine she's being or not. But when she's like trying to quote distract Grace and Faith, and she's like, oh, like I'm gonna be the one in power. Like my brother's, I'm ad-libbing here, but like my brother's not gonna be the one in power. Like we can work this out. And then she had mentioned earlier that the dad told her that he wanted her to take over the seat because even though they're fighting together, there's still only one seat.
Yeah.
So the Titus and Ursula agree that whoever kills Grace would be able to have the seat. So there is something, and the thing is we don't get a lot of backstory on him. He doesn't talk very much, and when he does or when he is on screen, he's just fucking shit up. So like that is really scary, right? Because for the most part, everything, we think about people in power and money is true with this particular character. For no real rhyme or reason outside of maintaining the power and the money is he being vicious. Like these women are already being attacked. Like you don't have to torture her in the process. Like he was just kicking the dog shit out of her and she was already on the floor. She wasn't fighting back. Like her nose was broken, so there was something like really daunting. Yeah, really daunting about that. And I mean, the other families, though, I understand why they were so adamant on participating is because they haven't been in that high council seat for a long time. It seems like this one family has had the power for an extremely long time. So with that being said, I like it was just very like Ursula doesn't have that level of callous, but Titus did.
Yeah, according to the trivia that Yuvia pulled, our producer, the story mentions the last time the council met was October 1963, implying involvement in the assassination of John F. Kennedy the following month. So it's been a long time.
That
Yeah.
tracks.
Pulling strings.
Yeah. So
Popping heads.
yeah. So basically, the Titus and Ursula are able to use Grace as a bargaining chip to get. To use Faith as a bargaining chip to get Grace to come and meet them. And this is after Grace has fucking found a shotgun. She shoots Francesca, the daughter of Nestor Carbell's character, who was fucking. She even put on a wedding dress, which I think the cousin of Titus and Ursula's like, that's just sad. When she pops up with the dress, she's like, girl, you gotta let it go. Like he did not marry you. Like it's over. And so she gets killed. And then basically Grace, knowing about the loophole, she says, I'll marry Titus.
Yes.
To end this. And then later on that night when she's, they try to make her up the best they can, even though she's got that brutal scar, which actually isn't that bad. I mean, her body's got to be fucked up because between the glass, pierced in her, the fucking hole in her hand, what else?
Nail in her shoulder.
Yeah.
I mean, all the shit that happened in the first movie. Then that's like we're talking about the shit that happened in this one. So like, remember she
gets impaled on the shoulder, but at one point,
explosions, like everything.
Yeah, all the mixed blood all over her. Yeah.
Well, that's one thing is how do they not all get hepatitis or some other kind of disease? Everyone's mouths are just open with these bites that are exploding.
Yeah. Ugh.
Coronavirus.
And that's how the spread of AIDS happened.
And Ursula tries to warn Grace about Titus and everything. And then Titus, of course, pops up and is like, oh, you just gonna talk shit about about your brother? And he chokes her to death. Well, he snaps her neck, which is fucking brutal. And she whispered, I loved you, which I was kind of like, is that a sister I love you? Or is this like an ancestral hint? I love you.
I think it was more like in a sisterly way, but it's just like, hey, like in a sense, it's like I actually legitimately looked out for you, and
Yeah,
like
I
yeah,
I took it that way too. I did find it weird that neither Ursula or Titus had been married or had kids by then.
yeah,
Um, which is make you know that's where I started thinking about like being born into the family and kind of just going through the motions because it's something you've always done, versus like wanting to do it, and just like that whole connection.
Or
but
it might be that that's the one glimmer of like looking out for other people, because if you're in these situations, right, these part of these like high council families, if you marry someone, you know that they have a risk of playing that
yep,
fucking card game and potentially drawing
mhm,
hide and seek.
yep,
So it's like, if you really love somebody, do you really want to put them through? I mean, if you're like in that situation, you just have a long-term relationship, right? You never marry anybody,
exactly.
I
But
imagine.
but if you don't marry someone, then they don't have access to your assets.
Mm.
So that's why that other person would want access to the assets in their life. They die. It's just like then they get nothing.
And you gotta occasionally like participate in the satanic worship shit, like in the council,
Yeah.
like the fucking goats and all that.
But I might even you know, I'll throw it out there that they may have not married because they know that their father is old as dirt and he's on, he's on his last leg. And they have to stay in the game. They have to be focused. They have to be paying attention to what's going on around them. AKA, so it's like if they fuck up, and get soft, they end up like these other guys, like what's the his Hispanic guy, Nestor. Nestor's character, or well, Ignacio, was the character's name. Ignacio is like he missed all of those shots with that sniper rifle because he hadn't been practicing, and he hadn't been practicing because he's on TV. He has a family, he has all this shit going on, so he's not doing his due diligence of making sure that he's ready if something like this happens. But it seemed like the twins, they had been training for this for years. Their
Yeah.
father is basically at death's door. There's like, hey, we need to make sure this shit is secured, and if it is secured, we're secured for the next 40, 50 years, because they probably have tiger blood, they're going to last as long as possible. So like, yeah, I think it's like them really being dedicated to the game.
Yeah, I can see that. I There is something because we're about to jump into this whole wedding scene, right? Now, I am not playing devil's advocate
Oh.
and I am not preaching one thing or another, but the people that I know that are worshipers of the satanic temple do
Mm.
not do not
I didn't pay attention.
um do not co-sign like a bunch of this stuff, which is essentially um like like these all sacrifices and like everything is like I don't want to say like a negative connotation, but these are people who are doing bad. And so this idea that these people were presented with this opportunity of whatever Mr. LaBelle had presented to them, right? And
Mhm.
they chose to do bad things. Mr. LaBelle did not make them do bad things. And
Yeah.
so it made me sort of like wonder what the satanic community feels about their representation, especially in this movie, considering they have a lot of like talk of Satan, the devil, worship, etc., etc.
I don't know,
I mean,
that's an interesting thought.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you're a part of a satanic worship group, cult, let us know. Email us at mediumpod@gmail.com. Let us know how you felt about Ready or Not too, and the representation for your culture. We'd appreciate it.
Yeah,
Yeah, just
and
a yeah.
also make sure you're doing some of all the bullshit towards certain people in the world right now.
Oh boy. All right. So an underground altar. Titus and Grace are married. And then Grace ends up stabbing Titus with the blood pen because she's like, there's nothing in the rules about killing, other family members. You prove that by killing, your sister. And
Mhm.
so she stabs the fuck out of him with that pen.
Yeah.
I mean, rightfully so. He's a piece of shit. He brutalized her sister, and then her sister kicks him into this pit of sacrificed bodies. And then she basically takes on the ring, and she runs she has the high seat. And that's when I was like, oh shit. And everyone's like, what the fuck? Like, this chick came out of nowhere and fucking wrecked shop, and now she's running
Yeah.
it. And she's like, I can run this thing. Or I could just say, fuck this. I understand why she did what she did, where she was like, I disavow this role and just tossing the ring in. And if, no one has the ring within like 3 minutes, when the sun comes up, Mr. LaBelle is really angry, hinting that everyone's going to die. But I'm like, girl, to Tati's point, you could just use this for good. You could use all this power for good. Because if someone
Yeah.
bad gets that ring, it's all over still.
Yeah, but at the same time, you are still aligned with the devil. Your soul belongs to the devil. So like, what does that mean? Does that mean that when you die, you're going to fucking hell? Does that also, I mean, obviously you have to believe in that. But also like if something goes wrong, somebody does some fuck shit, am I exploding? And my entire family is fucking exploding? I don't want that shit on me. I don't want that shit on me. Nah, the devil's a lie. That's why I'm throwing that shit in the little pit with all the fucking goat heads and fucking Titus. Fuck
I will
bullshit.
say that I understood why she sort of like I played the game. I played the game twice because this takes place like less like 24 hours after her own wedding massacre. Right. So she's fucking exhausted. The girl needs a fucking burger. Like the girl woman hasn't eaten. She's getting fucked up left and right. All the blood gone. She's been married twice in 48 hours,
Mhm.
lost 2 husbands.
Yep.
So it's interesting because while I understand the whole like, if you can't beat them, join them. And she's like, I'm not doing either. Like, I've beat them. I don't need to join them. I said that I would heavily consider keeping that role. And because the sacrifices they're talking about, I would sacrifice everybody who's fucking evil. I would get them in, and those would be the people that I would be taking out if this were me. But then, you get into the whole like, can you be the judge, jury, and executioner of people and blah, blah, blah. And it sounds like there's something we're skirting over here, which is why I think it's possible we may get a third movie. We may not. With these characters of Grace and Faith, which is it seems like they had a really rough and tumble life, which is why they're so estranged as adult women.
Yeah.
And so this idea that, everybody deserves a chance or rehabilitation or something like that, it's not hit over our heads like heavily, but it is there. And because it is there, I'm just like, oh, I see why she chose to not keep her role.
Yeah. Well, all right. So if they have a third movie, what do you guys think is going to be, the basis of that film? Do you think that they are actually going to find out that like, their life growing up was the way that it was and that was kind of preordained due to this group or something like that? Or do you think that like somehow their parents have something to do with this as well? Like, I just don't understand where they can go with a third one of these.
I think they could go with John Wick 3 route, because even though Grace throws the ring into, the high seat ring into the pit, and like she disavows that role, but that doesn't mean that she's out of that marriage. That doesn't mean that she's out of like her commitment to either the first family or the second family. And so I can see Elijah Wood's character come and be like, hey, so I know you disavow that role, but you can't leave this thing, and if you try to, we're all going to come after you. Like I can see that kind of being the bigger story where she's got to basically take out the whole fucking High Council or something like that,
Yeah, yeah,
or Mr. LaBelle himself, because they keep hinting at his spirit, like he pops up again at the altar in this one. So, I think that there's definitely possible, like a thing to close out this trilogy. I just think obviously you got to give Grace like a few days to recuperate. It can't take place immediately after they're walking out that gate together. Like
yeah.
they gotta give Grace some faith some time because I wouldn't believe that Grace could fight through like 72 plus hours of just brutal life or death fighting and shit.
Yeah.
I hear
I
that.
don't know. It's very interesting. It's very interesting how this thing was going, and just like seeing where it could go next, because like it does leave a lot of questions. Because that's the thing I was, like you said, that was the thing I was thinking as well. It's just like, all right, if she technically married, she's into this, so technically she has a pact with the devil. So
Yeah,
it's just
I
like,
would
how does she break that pact?
I
Like,
would say
I don't think that was enough. Sorry,
I would
Tati, go
say
ahead.
it's twofold, right? Because she's technically part of two families now, and these are two families that had two high seats. So
Mm,
in theory, she's like a third of this council already. Um, and then I can absolutely see Mr. LaBelle being like intrigued by her and
mhm.
like trying to get her or the sister, because the introduction of the sister and the sister being like, do it, I'll do it, like the sister's like very intrigued with this stuff. So I
Yeah,
think there's a moment where this her and the sister probably come to blows. The sister's like, I'll fucking join this, like do this stuff, like the sister seems about that life. So I think that if there's a lot of places it can go, because it's such a loose world
yeah,
right now, where like Mr. LaBelle is trying to get her, or these other families are fighting for a seat at this high society, and they have to take her out because the devil can't, or the Satan cannot have a mere human just not, just take out his people.
I just thought about, because they talk about, Faith initially says she has a boyfriend named Derek, who is an actor who has a fallback MBA, which, like, Faith, Grace is immediately like, that's bullshit. What if they think they're out in the clear? Faith gets married, and then LaBelle shows up and is like, oh, you got to make your spouse play this game. And then they actually become the hunters.
mm,
You could do that where these two sisters now have to hunt people versus being the hunted, and they have to figure out a loophole to like get out of the game for like as a family. Because I'm sure there's maybe like some kind of like loophole with that too that we just haven't explored because they're still building the lore and everything like that. But I could see that being the flip for the third one. They actually are the bad, like technically the bad guys that have to hunt. And maybe we find out that Face like husband's family ain't shit, so it kind of makes sense that she like has to kill them or whatever.
yeah,
Like we could do something fun like that. You know what I mean? Like no, there's like you said, there's a lot of possibilities, but there's definitely gonna be more body explosions, because that pit with even the little kid exploding and everything, I was like, yo, and they're all stabbing each other in that pit to get that ring, which was
yeah.
crazy that no one could get that ring on their finger within 3 minutes.
Well, they're all jockeying for the
I know.
the
That's
number
just
one spot. That's what I mean,
it's
because
wild.
you got to think of the fact is like that ring means a lot. That means your whole life has changed to a different degree. But then also they are standing on a pile of bones. That ring
Yeah,
would not be easy to get a handle on and
true.
actually slide that bitch on, because one person gets stabbed or whatever, and that ring is just anywhere.
And
You know
more
what I'm saying? Or
blood's being
someone
spurted out.
drops it.
Yeah.
Yeah, then the blood is just like it's very easy to lose all of that shit.
Justin, do
Very
you have any letterbox reviews for Ready or Not too?
Oh, baby. Yes, we do. All right. Up first, we have Leah. Leah says, without wigs, it was hard to recognize Elijah Wood. Okay. 4 stars.
Okay.
Okay.
What?
Yeah, I
How do you
don't know.
not recognize Elijah Wood? He actually has one of the most recognizable faces, I think.
Yes, the eyes.
Yeah, like
The smile, like his
yes.
mouth, the teeth.
That's such a weird thing. Okay.
Yeah, he literally looks like a little hobbit. And he
Well,
looks
he's looked the
kind
same since he's been a
yeah,
kid. You know what I mean?
exactly.
Like,
That too.
yeah. So
All
weird.
right. Up next is Mac with the K. Just MAC. Mac. Max says, what do I have to do to get Margot Robbie to play the third sister in Ready or Not 3? 3.5 stars.
That's
I
true.
don't know,
They've been
man.
doing the whole like they look alike, and they finally addressed it head on in Babylon, but like not to great effect.
Oh, also, being that we're talking about sequels, and Margot Robbie could also play mom, considering they only talked about "You left me with dad." There's no mention of mom anywhere. That's a
She's not
possibility
old
too.
enough to play her mom.
It's Hollywood. She probably is.
Fair. Or they just get a chick from oh my god, what's that fucking horror movie? You know, she played the younger version and then the old lady as well. Oh my
Oh,
god,
Mia Goth,
yeah, Mia Goth. She'll just play the mom because she just
or
loves playing old women.
or you get Michelle Pfeiffer. Fuck it, she's still out here
Ooh,
working,
oh,
and she
this is
does
true.
horror sometimes. Fuck it, she'd be a
I'm,
great mom actually for these
I
two.
see. I'm here for that. I'm here for that.
Yeah, I like Michelle Pfeiffer. She could be in this.
Oh yeah, we all like Michelle Pfeiffer. Oh, up next we have Cobb. Cobb says, "Not being dramatic when I say Samara Weaving and Caitlin Newton is the team up of the fucking century." 5 stars.
They do have great chemistry. They did. Have
Yeah,
great
they do.
chemistry.
They did. Up next we have Tim Tam Titus. Tim Tam Titus. Jesus Christ. Yeah,
You
it's a
okay,
weird.
Justin?
No, but because you don't know how you're supposed to read this. Tim Tam Titus, you know what I'm saying? Anyhow, always Elijah Wood and his damn rings.
That's hilarious.
3
That's
stars.
funny.
And last but not least, we have Blue Ghost. Blue Ghost says, I actually prefer this to the first, believe it or not, David Cronenberg Forever.
Yeah.
4 stars.
Okay. All right.
David
Well,
Cronenberg, he died?
no, he's still alive, but he was the
Okay,
dad.
I thought
He's-
like
he's-
maybe he died after this
He
movie.
very rarely acts. That's why it was like such a big deal that he like popped up in like this small role.
Got you.
and stuff.
Got you. I mean, and the man is 83 years old. So I'm just like, wait, did he die after this movie? So, yeah.
But all right, Justin, break down our rating system, baby.
Stop calling me baby. Guys, you know how we do this. We rate movies, bags of popcorn, small, medium, large, and the XL for the exceptional. If a film doesn't deserve any hot, buttery, delicious popcorn, we throw it into the stale popcorn pile. We pile piles and piles and piles of stale popcorn on the top of it. So, Brandon, we sat down and watched Ready or Not 2. Here I Come. Samara Weaving, Elijah Woods, Sarah Michelle Gellar, Catherine Newton, David Cronenberg, tons of people in this one. Let's start with Tati. Tati, what say you?
So I am going to give this a large. I enjoyed it. I actually might watch it again, like in a theater. But I mean, I am a huge Sarah Michelle Gellar fan, and she plays Rich just so well.
Yes.
It fits her, it suits her. That's her
She
thing.
is rich, so
I would have loved to see her like fight a little more, but aside from that, I mean,
That's
for a
so fucking
sequel, I thought it hit all the marks it needed to. I love blood and gore, so I'm hoping if there is a next one, there's more blood and gore because fuck them kids, they can get got too. Um yeah, I mean, honestly, the small things is just me having to recognize that it's not a perfect movie. And there's some things that they could have tightened up a little bit, but honestly, it's fine the way it is. Not much that I would change if I could change anything, but even then, I'm not even thinking about it. So, yeah, large for me.
All right, Brandon.
Yeah, I'm also giving this a large. I think it does exactly what a sequel is supposed to do: go bigger, better, and in the horror genre, gorier, and bloodier. I think that the cast was even more impressive than the first one because we have a little bit more name recognition with some folks. I think that the action made a lot of sense. It actually like between the action, the horror element, along with the comedic moments. I'm actually really excited for Radio Silence to be taking on the Mummy reboot with Brendan Fraser, Rachel Weisz. That's like their next movie, and so I think that they've just grown really a lot as a directing team, and this movie just showed like all the things they've learned from the Scream movies and the first Ready or Not. And I think it's a great sequel compared to other sequels we've seen recently that just shit the bed, or like we were just like, why did this happen? They actually had a story that was worth telling, and they also had great chemistry with the two leads. So I was very satisfied. As a big fan of Ready or Not, this is a worthy sequel, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they possibly do with the third installment. Justin, what's your rating?
Yeah, I'm giving it a large as well. I think like I still like the first one better. Even though like but that's not taking anything away from
It's
this. I
simpler.
think I think it was a little bit more simple. But like you said, they had a story to tell, and a good story to tell, and like I think that they definitely, got across what they wanted to get across. Also, the cast. I think the casting was really great for this film. I mean, Elijah Wood played that role extremely well. Sarah Michelle Gellar, Sean Hatsui.
Hasselsy. It's not Hassel-y, but
Yeah, I don't know.
we're both
Either
terrible at
way,
these. Yeah.
I think everyone came in. Hatsui. I don't know. Fuck. Anyway,
We're terrible at pronouncing stuff. People know this. The Century.
yeah. Hey, baby. They're white names. I don't know. It's not ethnic enough for me. I Aaron's his last name. But all right. I think that the casting, they did well. Everyone played their roles very well in this big ensemble cast. And like, there's not anyone I was just like, we didn't need that person. I think everyone really brought it, and so yeah, definitely worth a large. And this is lots of rewatchability with this one as well.
100%. This series, you could definitely watch both of them back to back and have a good time. Like you could just have a horror afternoon and like have fun with it. But folks, that's our review on Ready or Not 2, or Ready or Not Here I Come is actually how it's called. As always, folks, you can follow the show at Media MP Podcast on all social media platforms. Tatiana, how can people follow you?
You can find me on IG, baby. Follow me at Boricua Collins.
Brandon, keep it going.
Yeah. By Cliff, aka Eddie. Follow me. Justin, you just look like Rick and Morty when they do the lip thing. I'm terrible, guys. Y'all know I can't do this. Follow me at Fertile_Blackens on Instagram and Threads, fertileblackens.com for tickets and shows and stuff. Ready or Not, Here I Come. You can't hide.
No, you can't rhyme.
Oh, well.
You can't rhyme.
All right, Justin. How do people follow you and support the show financially if they choose to do so?
You can find me at J Brown Did It on Instagram or the social medias. And you can follow the show on Patreon. Oh, baby. It's patreon.com/medium popcorn. Nigga. That's how it's done.
One time. All right, y'all. Listen, everybody. I love you. We love you. Okay. Thank you so much for listening. Leave a 5-star review on your podcast app because we haven't had one in a while. Leave a favorite 5-star review. Let us know what you like about the show and all that stuff. Also, again, if you're part of a satanic cult or you worship Satan, we want to hear from you. Email us at mediumpod@gmail.com. Please don't be too crazy, though.
Yeah, but call in. But please, if you are in a satanic cult, get rid of the people that we need to get rid of.
All right, y'all. We'll talk to y'all soon. Peace.
Medium popcorn. We are two niggas spoiling movies. Yeah. Brandon Collins, that's me, and Justin Brown for your movie needs. Medium popcorn. Woo! You haven't seen it, well, we're gonna spoil it. Spoil it in your face. That's your warning. So if you get pissed, it's all your fault.